so I started writing Close to You when I was 6 months pregnant with our daughter, and I finished writing it when she was 6 months old. It was always a dream of mine to be able to write a story set in New Zealand. My first ever manuscript that I wrote was actually originally set in New Zealand, and then I rewrote it to be set in America after I was told that, you know, international settings aren't generally a big seller in the American market. In late 2013, an editor said to me, "Have you ever thought about writing a book set in New Zealand based around the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit movies?" And I kind of thought it was pretty crazy, but so that was really where I started from, and the ideas just kind of grew from there. Funnily enough, when I was in the delivery suite having Ellie, I got an email from my agent saying that the publishing house that I was writing Close to You for, that editor was from, had put a hold on acquiring all contemporary romances. So from there, as far as I was concerned, I was basically writing Close to You for myself. So that was definitely a really intense time, kind of juggling writing and, you know, being tired with a newborn and everything else that goes on when you've got at that time a 2-year-old and a new baby. I definitely look back and I really see, I guess, God's hand on that whole process. There's, large, pieces of writing Close to You that I don't actually have really clear memories of because, I was writing through a bit of a newborn haze. I sent it to my agent in the July, and I was so sure that people would laugh at him, essentially, that I didn't even ask him who he had pitched it to. And to this day, I had absolutely no idea who else he pitched it to. And then in October, I got an email from him saying that Howard Books were interested. And I didn't know that they had it. I didn't know that the editor was reading it there. And yeah, it kind of all went from there. It was 9 years from when I started writing until I got my first contract. And there were, a lot of points in that where, there were years of just being rejections, straight up rejections, being rejected by agents, being rejected by editors, not finally in contests, really feeling like that maybe I was, wasting my time and that this just wasn't the thing that I was meant to be doing. But there were always things in that kind of encouraged me to kind of just keep on going. And then as time went on, there were, I signed with my agent and my book started doing better in contests, but still, there was a lot of times where there were publishing houses who were interested in my work, but, it just wasn't the right timing for them, or I wasn't the right fit. There was, a lot of places where my books got to a certain point in the acquisition process and then things just didn't work out. There was always, lots of evidence and people out there who will point out that the odds, particularly when it comes to publishing or traditionally publishing a book, are not in your favour, and in fact, some would say you've got better chances of winning lotto. But yeah, I definitely think that, it's been a really, looking back on the journey, I can see, God's hand in all of those different things. But yeah, when I'd started writing, someone had said to me it would be, 9 years. That definitely would have been very daunting.